The message arrived on a Tuesday. After centuries of searching the stars, humanity finally received proof that it was not alone. The signal originated from somewhere near Alpha Centauri, humanity's closest stellar neighbor. Sam Miller was eating breakfast when his phone rang with an urgent call. As captain of the Earth Defense Fleet flagship, the U.S. Horizon, he knew that emergency calls were never good news. "Miller here," he replied, his coffee forgotten. "Captain, report to headquarters immediately," Admiral Clark's voice said. "First contact. This is not an exercise." 3 days later, Sam was in a room with the 12 most important people on Earth. Scientists, military leaders, and government officials looked at him with expectation in their eyes. "Captain Miller, you have been chosen to lead humanity's first diplomatic mission to meet the aliens," said President Garcia. "Your track record is impeccable and your experience in both military strategy and xenobiology make you our top choice." Sam nodded, his mouth dry. "When do we leave?" 2 weeks, replied the president. "This is how long it will take to prepare the horizon for this journey." The alien species called themselves Xeraxians. Through a series of basic communications, they agreed to meet at a neutral location, a space station orbiting a lifeless planet 6 light-years from Earth. Thanks to humanity's newly developed faster-than-light engine, the trip would only take 23 days. Sam spent these days preparing with the chosen team. Communications Officer Lily Peterson, Science Officer Eric Collins, and Chief of Security Maria Rodriguez studied the limited information they had on the Xeraxians and practiced countless meeting scenarios. "What if they look like giant spiders?" Maria asked during a simulation, "so she will be polite to the giant spiders." Sam responded with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. As the U.S. Horizon reached the meeting point, Sam felt a mixture of awe and fear. The space station was not just a simple structure. It was a huge, glowing ring that dwarfed their ship. His project spoke of technology that was centuries beyond Earth's capabilities. "Captain, we are receiving docking instructions," Lily said into her console. "And, sir, they're not just talking about the Xeraxians anymore." The message mentioned something called the Galactic Council. Representatives of more than 200 civilizations are said to be waiting. Sam's stomach tightened. 200. "Yes, sir, we are not meeting any alien species. We are getting to know the universe." For hours later, Sam led his team through the airlock to the station. The hallway ahead opened into a vast chamber where creatures of every shape imaginable waited. Some floated in the air, others were encased in mechanical suits, and some appeared to be made of light. In the center was a tall, blue-skinned humanoid with 4 arms. "Captain Miller of Earth," it said in perfect English, "I am Ambassador Krell of the Xeraxians. Welcome to the Galactic Council." As Sam and his team made their way through the crowd, they noticed something worrying. Many of the aliens were whispering, some pointing, others making sounds that sounded suspiciously like laughter. "Why are they looking at us like that?" Eric whispered, before Sam could respond. A floating orb of purple energy floated near them. "So these are humans," he said, his voice somehow inside and outside their heads. "How strange, they still have physical bodies." Another alien, resembling a horse-sized praying mantis, snapped its jaws. "I heard they only achieved space travel a century ago, practically as newborns." Sam felt his face heat up, but he maintained his diplomatic composure. We are honored to participate in this meeting of advanced civilizations. Humanity has a lot to learn, but also a lot to offer." This statement caused a wave of unmistakable laughter to run through the chamber. Ambassador Krell raised his 4 hands for silence. "Captain Miller, please understand. In galactic terms, its science is extraordinarily young. Most civilizations here carried out interstellar travel millions of years ago. Some have been around since before your child graduated." Sam looked at the worried faces of his team and then straightened his shoulders. "Everyone has to start somewhere. Ambassador, we are ready to take our place among the stars." What Sam didn't say was what he saw in the eyes of each alien watching them. Humans were not seen as equals. They were a curiosity, a primitive species stumbling across a universe that had long since left them behind. The galaxy was laughing at humans, and this was just the beginning. 2 weeks have passed since their first meeting, and things have not improved for the humans. The Galactic Council assigned them the lowest possible status. Developing species, Class 3. This meant they could observe council meetings, but could not vote or access most of the shared technological database. Sam and his team were given small quarters on level 47 of the station, an area where other smaller species were housed. The hallway had a strange smell, the artificial gravity was a little off, and the food made everyone sick for the first few days. "I feel like we're in a zoo," Maria said as they gathered in Sam's quarters for their daily meeting. "Did you see how that group of jellyfish aliens were taking pictures of me in the cafeteria?" Lily nodded. "They don't even try to hide their content. Yesterday, I was told that my language skills were impressive for a species that only recently learned to write." "We've been writing for thousands of years," Eric said, looking for Mrs. Tablet. "I know that," Lily snapped. "They don't care about the facts. They have already decided what we are." Sam walked around the small room. "We need to find allies. There must be some species here that remember what it was like to be a newcomer," as if the door rang right away. When Sam opened it, he found himself face to face with a being that looked like a cross between a lion and a fox, standing on two legs. Its fur was deep orange with black markings, and its eyes were large and golden. "Greetings, humans. I am Vexrel of the Mithrani. Can I come in?" The voice was soft and musical. Sam hesitated, then stepped aside. "Please come in." Once inside, Vexrel looked at each human with open curiosity. "I apologize for the behavior of my people towards yours. Not all of us share the Council's perspective." "Which is what exactly?" Sam asked. Vexrel's ears flattened slightly. "These emotionally driven species are dangerous and unpredictable. Most advanced Council races have evolved beyond what they call primitive emotional responses. They replaced feelings with pure logic or collective consciousness, and that should be better." Maria asked. "They think so." Vexrel's tail flicked. "But I think it makes for a boring conversation." For the first time in weeks, the humans laughed. The next day, Sam was summoned to meet with the assigned development supervisor, a tall, gray-skinned being named Credo. His species evolved beyond mouths, so he spoke through a translator device placed in his throat. "Captain Miller, your species presents unique challenges," Credo said without greeting him. "Your delegation committed 17 protocol violations in 2 weeks. We're still learning their ways," Sam replied. "In fact, your species appears limited in its ability to learn. I believe if the Council decided that humanity must remain quarantined in its solar system for at least 500 years of development." Sam felt his heart squeeze. 500 years. But we have already developed faster than light travel. Using principles you barely understand, copied from signals we deliberately allowed you to detect, Credo said dismissively. "Your species is like a child who has found his parents' tools." That night, as Sam shared the bad news with his team, Vexrel visited again, this time bringing another alien, a small, blue-skinned creature with multiple eyes. "This is Trill," Vexrel explained. "An information broker. Tell them what you told me." Trill blinked several eyes nervously. "The High Council fears humans more than they admit. Your species has an unusual neurological pattern. Your brain processes information differently. That is good?" Eric asked. "It's unique," Trill replied. "And in a galaxy of predictable patterns, the only one is dangerous." Lily leaned forward. "What else are they not telling us?" "Many things," Vexrel said. "But most importantly, they are hiding why humans are the only species in the galaxy with such extensive emotional range and creativity. Some board members believe you were designed this way." "Designed?" Sam repeated. "By whom?" Vexrel and Trill exchanged glances. "That's what the Council fears you'll find out," Vexrel said calmly. For the first time since arriving, Sam felt something other than frustration. If the powerful Galactic Council feared humans, perhaps there was more to their species than previously known. 6 months have passed since humans first arrived at the Galactic Council station. The Earth delegation grew to 12 people, with new experts joining to learn what they could despite the severe restrictions placed on them. Sam stood on the observation deck, watching the swirl of ships coming and going from the massive station. Humans were still not allowed to access most areas or technologies. Their requests for scientific exchange were repeatedly denied. Captain Miller called to the voice behind him. It was Eric, his science officer, looking more excited than Sam had seen him in weeks. "I need to show you something." Privately, back in his quarters, Eric pulled out a small device that Vexrel had secretly given him. He projected a hologram showing brain images of different species. "I have been studying the biological differences between humans and other Council races," Eric explained. "Observe these neural patterns." Sam examined the 3D color images. "What am I looking at?" The top image is a standard brain of a bored species. The background is human. Eric pointed to specific areas. See how the human brain has these unusual connections. According to the board science, these should not exist. Our brains have developed pathways that no other species has developed. Is that why they think we're dangerous? Sam asked. Possibly, but there is more. Eric changed the display. Lily discovered something too. Lily took a step forward. I have been studying alien languages. The Council has more than 4,000 official languages in its database. Most species can learn perhaps 10 to 20 during their lifetime. I've mastered 32 in 6 months. Sam looked surprised. That's impressive, but it's impossible. Eric interrupted. According to their records, no species has ever demonstrated this ability. The Council's linguistics expert has been studying Lily as if she were some kind of aberration. Maria entered the room, her security uniform showing signs of recent combat training. It's not just brains and tongues. I've been doing combat simulations with some of the lower-tier species. Our unpredictability confuses your tactical systems. They completely trust logic and patterns. We don't. Sam considered this information. So we are different, but different enough to scare the most powerful beings in the galaxy. There's something they're not telling us, Lily said. Something big. The door rang, and Vex Roll entered. Looking nervous. His fur was standing on end. His supervisor, Credo, requested an emergency meeting with the High Council regarding the human situation. He whispered. My sources say he demands tighter controls on his species. Why now? Sam asked. Because of what happened yesterday in the engineering section. Sam nodded, remembering. One of their engineers, Pete, found a simple solution to a power coupling problem that had plagued the station for years. The alien engineers were impressed and disturbed by the solution, which came from what Pete called just basic common sense. They are scared by how quickly you adapt and solve problems. Vex Roll explained. Most council species believe that true intelligence requires centuries of careful technical development. Humans make intuitive leaps that they cannot understand. Later that day, Credo summoned Sam to his office. The gray alien seemed more agitated than usual. Captain Miller, your species continues to demonstrate troubling behaviors, Credo said without preamble. Your engineer violated protocols by modifying station systems. He solved a problem you've had for decades, Sam replied. That's not the point. The council voted to further restrict human movement. All of your personnel will now be confined to level 47 unless specific permission is given otherwise. Sam felt his anger rise. You are treating us like prisoners. We are treating you like the potential threat you pose. Credo said coldly. There are patterns in human behavior that align with only one other species we have encountered. And what species is this? Sam asked. Credo's translator was silent for a moment. The one that almost destroyed the galaxy 1,000,000 years ago. One that we believe to be extinct. When Sam left Credo's office, his mind raced. The pieces still weren't falling into place, but the puzzle was becoming clearer. The council was no longer just mocking humans. They were scared. And scared people, or aliens, made dangerous decisions. He needed to find out what humanity really was before the council decided to eliminate the threat they believed humans posed. Alarms sounded throughout the station. Red emergency lights flashed in every hallway. Sam and his team rushed to the main observation deck, where aliens of all species had gathered in panic. What is happening? Sam asked Vex Roll, who was already there. A spatial anomaly has appeared near the KREK system. Vex Roll explained, pointing to a large screen that showed a swirling mass of energy in space. 3 inhabited planets are in danger. The council chamber was open to all species due to the emergency. Sam and his team joined the crowd as the High Counselors, an ancient being of pure energy, addressed the meeting. The anomaly is expanding more and more, Zed announced. Our calculations indicated that we will consume the KREK system in 14 hours. We have begun evacuation procedures, but millions will be lost. Can't you stop this? Someone screamed. Our scientists are working on a solution, Shep replied. But this type of quantum disturbance doesn't follow any known pattern. Sam noticed Eric studying the data on a nearby screen. His eyes narrowed in concentration. Eric, what are you thinking? Sam asked quietly. The anomaly isn't random, Eric whispered. Observe the energy pattern. It's like a wave, but with a specific frequency. If only we could generate an opposite wave. Sam turned to Vex Roll. Can you take us to the science center? Eric might have an idea. Vexrel hesitated. This area is restricted to Class 1 species only. People are going to die, Sam said firmly. 10 minutes later, using Vexrel's access codes, they entered the Science Center where dozens of the galaxy's brightest minds were working frantically. Kratos was there, directing the efforts. Humans are not allowed here, Kratos said when he spotted them. Sir, Eric stepped forward. I believe the anomaly is actually a quantum reflection. It is mirroring normal space, but with inverse properties. This theory was considered and rejected. Kratos replied coldly. But what if we don't try to destroy it? Eric persisted. What if we try to complete it? The room fell silent. A tall, crystalline alien stepped forward. Explain, human. Eric quickly outlined his theory. Instead of fighting the anomaly with opposing force, they could use synchronized energy pulses to help the anomaly complete its natural cycle, causing it to collapse in on itself. This approach challenges established quantum theory, said the crystal scientist. But it could work, countered Vexrel. Their species thinks differently. We cannot risk billions of lives based on primitive intuition, Kratos declared. Sam took a step forward. So let's try it ourselves. Give us a ship. Absolutely not, said Kratos. 3 hours later, Sam, Eric, Maria, and Lily were aboard a small maintenance vessel they had borrowed with Vexrel's help. They approached the edge of the anomaly as the Council continued their failed attempts to contain it. If we're wrong, we'll be dead in seconds, Maria said from the pilot's seat. And if we're right, we saved millions of lives, Sam replied. Eric ready. Eric modified the ship's power systems to create the specific energy pulses needed. Prepare. Starting the sequence now. The small ship closed while emitting precisely calibrated energy waves towards the anomaly. For several tense minutes, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the swirling mass began to change color. It's working, Lily exclaimed. The pattern is stabilizing. At the station, the Council watched in disbelief as the deadly anomaly began to shrink, folding in on itself until it disappeared completely. When they returned, the humans expected punishment for stealing the ship. Instead, they found a very different insight. Species that had previously ignored or mocked them now watched with renewed caution and respect. The Council requested his presence. Vexrel told them as they docked. All of them. This has never happened before with a Class 3 species. Sam nodded, understanding what had changed. Before, humans were considered primitive curiosities. Now, they had demonstrated something that the Advanced Council could not ignore. Humans could solve problems that the greatest minds in the galaxy could not. They were no longer just being ridiculed. They were being feared. The mood at the station had changed. The aliens now moved away when the humans passed by. Some watched with curiosity, others with clear discomfort. It has been 2 weeks since the anomaly incident, and the human team has been given limited access to the Council's scientific database as a reward. Eric has barely slept since gaining this access. Sam found him in their shared workspace, surrounded by floating holographic screens. Found something interesting? Sam asked, handing Eric a cup of coffee. Eric took the cup without looking up. Interesting doesn't begin to describe it. I have been studying ancient biological records. There is something strange about human DNA. Strange how? Eric pointed to a complex double helix model floating above his desk. This is human DNA. And this one, he slid to bring up another model, is the DNA of an extinct species called Valex. Council records say they disappeared about 1 million years ago. Sam studied both models. Even to his untrained eye, there were striking similarities. Are they saying we are related to these Valex? Not officially. In fact, most of the files on them are locked with higher security clearances than ours. Eric looked around before lowering his voice, which found something. A genetic marker that appears in both humans and this extinct species. It does not correspond to any natural evolutionary pattern. What does this mean? Sam asked. Does this mean someone modified ancient human DNA? We don't just evolve, Sam. Someone designed parts of us. Before Sam could respond, Lily burst into the room. We have a problem. Krajo comes with security guards. They know we've been investigating restricted files. Sam quickly helped Eric turn off the monitors. How long do we have? 5 minutes, maybe less, Lily replied. Vexrel is trying to stop them. Sam made a quick decision. Download what you can. We need to understand where we stumbled. For minutes later, when Krajo arrived with 6 armed guards, the humans were calmly reviewing the approved cultural exchange materials. The overseer's face showed no emotion, but his body language radiated suspicion. Captain Miller, the council is concerned about your research activities, Kratos said. We're just trying to learn about our place in the galaxy, Sam replied calmly. Kratos' eyes narrowed. Some knowledge is restricted for good reason. Your species is not prepared for certain truths. After Kratos left, finding nothing incriminating, Vexrel entered his quarters through a maintenance access. His usual calmness disappeared, replaced by obvious agitation. You need to be more careful, Vexrel warned. The High Council is watching you specifically now. Why? Sam asked. What are they so afraid we'll find? Vexrel looked around nervously before pulling out a small crystal. Contains information about its species that is not in public records. I risked a lot to get it. Sam took the crystal. Why are you helping us? Because my kind remembers what it was like before the current council took power. There was a time when Valeks guided the galaxy with wisdom and compassion. Then they disappeared, and the current power structure emerged. Vexrel's ears flattened. Some of us believe that Valeks is not dead. They chose to disappear. Later that night, the human team met in secret to review the crystal's contents. What they found left them stunned. This can't be right, Maria whispered as they studied the old records. That explains everything, Eric said. Why are brains different? Why are we so adaptable? Why do they fear us? Records showed that humans were not just similar to Valeks. According to genetic analyses, the council kept it secret. Humans were the Valeks, or rather, their direct descendants. Ancient advanced species did not go extinct. They had deliberately regressed their technology and civilization, retreating to Earth to start over. But why would an advanced species choose to become primitive again? Lily asked. The records don't say, Eric replied. That part is missing. Sam looked at the final image of Valeks, tall and elegant, but unmistakably humanoid. They are scared because they think we will remember who we were. Will we? Maria asked softly. Before Sam could respond, an alarm sounded throughout the station. A voice announced that all humans should report immediately. You to the council chamber. They know, Sam said sternly. They know we found out. The council chamber was filled with tension as Sam and his team were ushered inside. All 13 high counselors were present, their forms ranging from energetic beings to ancient robotic shells and organic creatures unlike anything on Earth. The gallery was packed with representatives of hundreds of species, watching in silence. High Counselor Jet floated in the center, his energy form pulsing with what appeared to be anger. Humans of Earth. Jet's voice resounded throughout the chamber. You accessed restricted information in violation of municipal law. Sam took a step forward. Information about our own species should not be restricted to us. A murmur ran through the gathered aliens. Kratos went to Sam's side. Be careful, Captain. The Council may order your species to be quarantined for 1,000 years, or worse. We know what you are hiding. Sam continued, ignoring the warning. Humans are descendants of the Valeks. We have the right to know our history. Silence. Thunderjet. The question of human origins is classified at the highest level for the safety of all galactic species. A crystalline advisor named Zuri stepped forward. Maybe it's time for truth, Jet. Secrets have their own dangers. Humans are not ready. Another counselor insisted. A huge being that resembles a giant octopus. Ready for what? Sam demanded. Knowing that we were once an advanced species. That we chose to start over. You don't know anything about the choice, Jet said coldly. You can't understand what Valeks did. Lily took a step forward. So tell us. We put together parts of the story. The Valeks were highly advanced. They held a leadership position in the galaxy. Then they disappeared 1,000,000 years ago, apparently choosing to regress their civilization and settle on Earth. What we don't understand is why, Eric added. Why would an advanced species choose to become primitive? The council members exchanged glances. Finally, an ancient tree-like being called Elderthorn spoke. The Valeks were the first species to achieve what we call transcendence, the ability to manipulate matter and energy at will, to extend life indefinitely, to travel between dimensions. They were gods by any practical definition. And like gods, they became arrogant, Zuri continued. They began to reshape worlds and species to their whims. Many civilizations were elevated or modified as experiments. Others were eliminated as failures. Sam felt a shiver. Are you saying the Valeks were monsters? Not at first. Elderberry rustled. Initially, they were benevolent guides. but power has changed them over millions of years. They began to view other species as inferior beings, tools for your big projects. Then something happened. Jet said. Affection among the Valaks grew to believe that they had lost something essential in their quest for progress. They argued that emotion, struggle, and mortality gave meaning to existence, things that Valaks had planned. This faction believed that their species needed to start over, rediscovering what it meant to be alive, rather than just being powerful. So they chose to become human. Sam said calmly. They chose to forget. Credo corrected. They erased their technological knowledge, suppressed their powers, and modified their genetics to develop slowly over thousands of generations. They became primitive by choice, maintaining only a few genetic markers of their true nature. But not all Valaks agreed. Shiri added. Those who opposed this plan fled to another galaxy. The rest settled on Earth, becoming what you now know as humans. Maria shook her head in disbelief. You're saying we voluntarily gave up being the most powerful species in the galaxy to save themselves from what they were becoming? Elder Thorn confirmed. The council was formed by the species that survived Valak's rule. We promised to prevent any species from gaining such power again. When humans began to show signs of rapid advancement, we intervened. The ridiculousness, the restrictions, Sam realized. You have been deliberately hindering us. For the safety of the galaxy, Zed insisted, including you. Sam looked around at the scared and suspicious faces of the council. So now we know. What happens next? The hours that followed the council's revelation were tense. The human team was confined to their quarters while the council debated their fate. Sam paced the room, his mind thinking about the implications of what they had learned. So we were once the most powerful beings in the galaxy, and we chose to give that up. Maria said, still processing the information. I'm not sure if that was incredibly wise or incredibly stupid. It was brave, Lily replied calmly. Recognizing that you are becoming something terrible and starting over takes courage. A gentle tap interrupted the discussion. The door opened to reveal Vexrel, looking even more agitated than before. You need to leave immediately, he said without greeting him. The council is divided. Some want to help humanity gradually remember its past. Others want to make sure you never remember. How would they do this? Eric asked. Upon destroying Earth, Vexrel responded harshly. Or by further modifying human genetics to remove the remaining Valaks traits. Sam felt a cold anger rising inside him. They have no right. Rights mean little to those who fear extinction. Vexrel counterattacked. But there is another option. My contacts have located something on your own planet, Mars. An artifact of Valak's origin. It was left there as a failsafe in case the experiment to become human needed to be reversed. Failsafe? Sam asked. What does this do? It can awaken the dormant abilities of Valaks in human DNA. Not all at once, but gradually. The council is unaware of its existence. Eric looked skeptical. If our ancestors wanted to forget, why leave a way to remember? Safe, Vexrel explained. If the new path led to extinction instead of redemption. The Valaks were careful planners. How do you know this? Maria asked suspiciously. Vexrel's ears flattened. Because my ancestors were among the few species that worked alongside the Valaks as equals rather than subjects. We helped them implement their plan. We have been observing humanity ever since. Waiting. Sam made a quick decision. We need to get back to our ship. As they formulated an escape plan, the alarm suddenly sounded throughout the station. Kratos' voice came over the comm system. All units hold humans. They must not leave the station under any circumstances. Too late, said Vexrel. Someone on the board made a decision without consensus. They moved quickly through the maintenance tunnels, Vexrel leading the way. Twice they had to hide from security patrols. They were almost at the dock when they turned a corner and found Kratos waiting with armed guards. That's unfortunate, said Kratos. I was hoping for a more peaceful resolution. We just want to go home. Sam replied, hands raised. This cannot be allowed now that you know the truth. The risk is very great. Kratos signaled to his guards. Take them to cell 7. Suddenly, Vexrel stepped forward. There is another way, Kratos. The old habits. The challenge of intention. Kratos' normally impassive face showed surprise. This tradition is ancient and rarely invoked. But still binding, I insisted you, Vexrel. One representative of humanity against one of the council. If the human wins, they will be able to leave freely. What if they lose? Kratos asked. They then undergo memory wipes and genetic modification. Vexrel said. Sam stepped forward before anyone could object. I accept the challenge. Minutes later, they were in a circular chamber. High Counselor Jet himself chose to represent the council. His energy form is now contained within a humanoid body. The challenge tests not only strength or skill, but also the purity of intention, explained an elder who served as a judge. Both challengers will be connected to the field of intent. This will reveal your true nature and purpose. When Sam and Jet entered the circle, a shimmering field of energy surrounded them. Sam felt a strange sensation, as if something was examining his thoughts, his feelings, his very being. Start, announced the oldest. The battle that followed was unlike anything Sam had experienced. It occurred simultaneously on the physical and mental planes. As they fought, Sam began to feel something awakening within him. Ancient knowledge, dormant skill coming to life. The more Jet pushed, the more Sam's hidden nature responded. It's happening, Jet gasped. Your memory. As the intention challenge continued, Sam felt memories that weren't his own flooding his mind. No, not memories that weren't his. Memories that were his 1,000,000 years ago, when he was someone else. Everyone watching could see the change happening. Sam's body began to glow with a soft blue light. Stop it, Kratos shouted at the older man. He is accessing Velix abilities. The challenge cannot be stopped once it has started. The eldest replied calmly. This is the will of the field of intention. Jet attacked more desperately now, his energy form sending painful shocks through Sam's body. But with each attack, Sam understood more. He saw the history of the galaxy through ancient eyes, the rise of the Velix, their conquests, and their slow corruption by power. He felt the internal conflict that destroyed their civilization, the desire for more power versus the recognition that they were losing their souls. You fear us because you don't understand, Sam said, his voice somehow different. The Velix that chose to become human didn't just want to forget. They wanted to find a better way, a way that could lead back to tyranny. Jet responded, attacking again. We can't risk it. With a new instinct, Sam deflected the attack. But you are becoming what you feared. You are deciding the fate of an entire species without their consent, just as the Velix once did. Those words hung in the air. Many council members shifted their positions uncomfortably, recognizing the truth in them. Sam continued, my ancestors chose to become human because they believed in starting over. Experiencing life with limitations, with the struggle against mortality, would teach them the wisdom that the Velix lost. They were right. With a surge of energy, Sam pushed Jet, not to hurt, but to connect. In that moment of connection, Jet experienced Sam's emotions, his memories, his humanity. The High Counselor staggered back, his energy form flickering in surprise. I feel it, Jet whispered. Compassion, hope, love, these emotions are so strong. That's what it means to be human, Sam said. We are not just the shadow of the Velix. We are what they aspire to be. The field of intent flashed brightly and then disappeared. The eldest took a step forward. The challenge is complete. The human prevailed, not through power, but through understanding. The chamber erupted into confused discussions. Some council members protested, others looked thoughtful. Vexrel quickly gathered the human team. You must leave now, RA, while they are distracted. He asked, go to Mars. Find the artifact. Come with us, Sam offered. Vexrel shook his head. My place is here. Someone needs to help the board understand what happened. 3 days later, the U.S. Horizon approached Mars. Earth was notified of the situation and a special facility was prepared on the Olympus Mon colony. As they orbited the red planet, Sam felt a strange pull toward a specific location. There, he said, pointing to a point on the map. Marineris Deval. The artifact is there. The expedition team found it buried deep in the Martian soil, a crystalline structure that pulsed with a soft light when humans approached. When Sam touched it, the crystal activated, projecting a hologram of a being that looked both alien and frighteningly human. If you are seeing this message, then the children of the Velix have found their way back to the stars. The figure said, we who choose to forget hope that you have found a better path than us. The message continued, explaining that the artifact would gradually unlock dormant abilities in human DNA, not to restore the Velix, but to create something new. A species with the potential for advancement and the wisdom to use it properly. A month later, Sam was again before the entire Galactic Council. This time, he was not alone. 50 human representatives accompanied him, each showing signs of newly awakened abilities. But they came not with demands or threats, but with an outstretched hand. Humanity doesn't want to rule the galaxy, Sam told the Silent Chamber. We want to join him as equals. Not as the Velix were born, but as something new, a species that remembers both the wonder of reaching for the stars and the importance of staying connected to each other. The High Advisor's jet floated forward, and if you become powerful again, if the temptations that corrupted your ancestors return, then we'll have you to remind us of our history, Sam replied. This is why we need each other. The journey ahead would be difficult, but for the first time humans would walk the path to the stars not as conquerors or subjects, but as partners in a larger community. The Velix experiment succeeded in ways they never could have imagined.